Don't you forget your special. Don't you forget your special.
We were all born different, even those that look alike, even twins of differences and can be identified.
The April Show. My name is Elon Carter, and I am here with my co-host,
Kendra Shoemaker,
Astrid Gamino,
Samantha Bowie.
Today, we have an iconic actor. I'm super excited to get to interview him, and you're going to be so excited when he has a plethora of movies that he's done. You're going to wait to see this special guest. His name is Lawrence Hilton-Jacobs. Bring it on, DJ X-Ray, come on.
You can make it to us where it's all in the mental. All you gotta do is just know that you're special. Come on.
Life will always test you, turn you to the best you. Don't know what you've been through, but I hope you get through. I can be this world to get you, and you forget you're special.
I am so excited to be here with Lawrence. I'm gonna tell you why, because I've known you for a long time, but I got to see you in a play recently. So I went with one of my friends. I saw you in this play, Jason's Lyric, about 2 months ago.
That musical, actually. Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Really good. And then I went home, and I don't know what that was. Cooley High came on. I hadn't seen that movie since I was a kid.
Yeah, what are you true?
And then I looked and I said, oh my God, look how young he looks. Now, you still look
Nobody's
great.
that young. But I don't know if you know this too, on the song Super Freak, I'm one of the singers on there, but I'm singing with your dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, your dad and Melvin, Otis, Richard Street, and Levi Ruffin, man.
My favorites.
All the guys, man.
Those were they're such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Ron Tyson's still in the group, which is
Oh yeah,
wonderful.
Ron
He's
is
a
still
sweetheart.
eating potatoes.
He's actually been the longest artist in the group. But when I was looking at the movie, I was like, I saw it when I was a kid. And the only reason why I remember is my father took me to see it and I was underage. And back then I knew that I wasn't supposed to see that one scene and he was like this.
Oh, yeah.
And then I told my mom, I said, he was just in the musical. I just went with Andrea. So yeah, that was amazing to see.
Yeah.
For you guys that don't know, you have to see, it's a cult film. You have to see it.
It's not a bad one. Pretty good.
And then you started it was called the Negro Ensemble in New York.
The Negro Ensemble Company in New York City. I started with the Fann Theatrical Ensemble, which was up in Harlem. It was in the basement of a church, the St. Philip's Church. Been up there for a couple of years. And then it's kind of funny, because it was a Negro Ensemble Company, which was more like theater, and that's where a lot of people came. Denise Nicholas and whoever came out of there, all these wonderful people, Moses Gunn and all that. And then the Fann Ensemble was like more geared towards movies. So they were almost like, had a little camaraderie, disdain for each other. But the minute I left Fann, I went right down to the Negro Ensemble Company, because it was theater, so you get the both balances. But I was with both.
You started in theater?
Excuse me?
You started doing theater?
You start in theater, as a kid. I mean, I've been doing it now, it's going into 57 years.
Great.
A long time. I'm going to be 72 coming up soon.
But you don't look it. That's
Great.
like you guys have to watch the older films because I have to tell this story. So I lived in the East Coast when I was a little kid. I came out here when I was like 10 years old. But I used to watch Welcome Back, Kotter. If you don't know Welcome Back, Kotter, John Travolta was in Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah, he had a small
Boom
part in
Boom.
that show.
So when you're a kid and you're watching shows like that, we didn't have cable. So it was like the most popular show.
It was different, as you say, even in those times, everybody in those times had to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Because it was like, if you want to watch the news, it was only 3 times the news came on in a day, so you had to get it, or you read the newspapers. So we all got information from each other, and it became like almost a community thing to watch your different shows, of Good Times, or What's Happening, or All in the Family and all that stuff, or even Welcome Back, Kotter.
And so do you think because you came up with those actors, it wasn't a lot of black famous actors, so during the time it's like everybody that you were with, you guys were just doing film after film?
It was, what happened in the late 60s going into the early 70s, New York became the hub to come do movies. Now it's done all over the place, but everybody was coming into town to do movies. So a lot of a variety of films had happened at the time, but then what they tagged the blaxploitation film thing had come up. That was mostly LA though. It was out of Los Angeles, so they might spring it out and things like that, but you could work. But I was a kid. When I came in, I was 16, 15 years old. And I would go off and do play readings with some of the people in these different tenement apartments. James Earl Jones would be sitting there, Clarice Taylor and Yaphet Kotto, and I'm the little kid, and they let me be there. I was like, wow, and they were so respectful.
Yeah.
Stack Pierce. I just think of so many people from
Adventure.
those times are just unreal.
What made you want to get into acting at that age? Were your parents pushing you to do it?
No, I was on the crack pipe.
No, you weren't. There was no crack then.
Man,
that was before crack.
I'm gonna be an actor. No, I mean, I've always wanted to do it. Sometimes I wonder, when I was in elementary school, I had a great teacher in the 6th grade. His name was Mr. Givens, and he would take us on field trips, and then he would write about the field trips and turn it into a play. But I always got the lead. He just give me the lead. I didn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
Or as a young kid, I was a ventriloquist. I used to put on puppet shows and all that. So I was always performing for the schools and doing that kind of thing. So you can tell I was definitely something wrong with
You're
me.
wired.
You're performing. You like to express yourself and perform.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool to do that. And I'll tell you what I found out, though. I found out I could be a producer young because when I was in the early 60s, I would put on shows in my, I grew up in the projects, but I would do the shows in my room and use the closet as a curtain. But I could charge a penny, and you can get 2 for a penny candies back then. So if I made 15 cents, I was rich.
You were happy.
So,
So you were a showman back then.
man, I was eating all that stuff. So I did all right.
Cute.
Mr. Lawrence, I know you've been acting since the 1970s. In your experience, how has the landscape for acting changed over the decades?
It doesn't really change, it just gets more involved, and you see the diversity of people working. On any set you can go on these days, you'll see a whole plethora or different varieties of people of any ethnicity and any different levels working. So that's a healthy thing. You just look at everything, even look at things politically, or even just as we see it every day. You look at the news commentators or the politicians or the senators and the mayors. There are a variety of all people. There's Spanish people, which I'm part Spanish, I'm part Dominican. There's black, white people, there's Asian. So I see a lot of that input into the game a little bit more, which is the healthy thing to see, and it's encouraging. It's always harder to try to get young people to really want to stay firm to something and believe that they can get a chance. But there's no quitting. There's no such thing as quitting, and so you have to learn how to employ that into yourself so you can find that raw energy and go forward. And I see the variety of that. That was a nice short answer, but
No, I loved what you said, like there's no quitting. Like there's so many people that will kind of go, oh, there's resistance here, like they start on a path.
if you quit, you don't win.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
No,
And so what's that about? But I mean, we're people, when you're trying to do something that's maybe a hard reach, it frustrates you. You get, if you're trying to be a performer, a lot of times you're going on raw nerve because what's propelling you?
Yeah.
The people talk about the rejection or the humiliation and trying to adjust with that. It's not an easy thing to do, but we still feel it.
Yeah.
It's how like you feel about family. You see your sisters, your brothers, and your mom and dad is an ungiven connection no matter what.
Yeah.
To each other. So that's the gospel of it. Now, trying to teach it to the young kids, especially if they're your kids, good luck.
Trying to get them. Do you think, and I'm just going back from just that era, do you think Welcome Back, Kotter made you a household name, or do you think, because I know you did a lot of black films, that really
absolutely.
crossed you over?
It was television. Television, again, was flipping over to what it's now become, where it's just a different dynamic of who works in this and that. But a lot of us were all theater guys coming in, and I didn't know what television meant. To me, I just got a job. If I got a job, I was happy to get it. I remember myself, I got the job, Bobby, Ron, and, all of us got the job, and we were just happy to be gigging.
Yeah.
And then it came on, and it was this spectacular thing and was mind-boggling for us. And just by coincidence, our producers also produced Chico and the Man. So Freddie Prinze became, Freddie was our partner too.
Oh, really?
Freddie was down with
I
us,
used to love
with
that
us, and
show,
a bunch of
Chico
young
and the
boys
Man.
with a couple of bucks and a little bit of, all that. So yeah.
Oh, you guys would like that show. Those shows were so good. The 70s shows were fun back then.
A lot of fun.
Because it was more family oriented. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna go to a break because I want to talk about being family oriented and brought us together, those shows. We'll be back in a few minutes with Lawrence Hilton-Jacobs. DJ X-Ray, bring it on.
All you gotta do is just know that you're special. Come on.
Life will always test you, turn you to the best you. Don't know what you've been through, but I hope you get through. I can be a friend who is someone you can vent to when it feels
We
this
are
world
back with Lawrence
against you.
Hilton-Jacobs. We're talking about a funny story. So when I came to California, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, Dad, like I was, a little kid, I was starstruck because I love Welcome Back, Kotter. And I'm like, that's Boom Boom, right? I'm a little kid. And then we lived in the building that John Travolta lived in. And I used to get in the elevator with him. He made the mistake of telling me his apartment number because I was frozen. I remember
he wouldn't hide.
and he's like, hi. I was like, oh my God, that's from Welcome Back, Kotter, right? I had already seen you. I already met you. And I'm like, oh my God, and I see another one. And then he goes, oh, I'm upstairs. You're friends. We used to knock on his door. And he never got mad at us, right? We were like, oh, can John come out and say hi to us?
John is from that same era of me. When we came up, we were like the last of the newer school with the old school guys. So all those veteran people were around, those Jackie Gleasons and those Yaphet Kottos and all they were around us, although we were kids. So they would always welcome us. So we got that kind of energy in us. No, it's not even humbling. It's just, why chill out? Why you got to trip?
Like that now.
Huh?
Because you guys were
Well, they tripping then. They tripping without their
kids.
luggage. What you can do about that? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
So different. But anyway, he was really nice.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
And then I would see you, and you were always so sweet. So, and but I have to tell you, so love Michael Jackson. You played Papa Joe.
Yeah.
You were a mean Papa Joe. Boy, you have to watch it. He played.
Let me tell you something about that too. A lot of people had this perception of Joe Jackson with raising those amazing boys in that family, that he was always stern and mean. And I said, wait a minute. He made 9 kids. That took a lot of love to make them babies.
Yes.
So it couldn't all just be that. But for me, in playing it, because we went through, I played him from 20 to 54, and I was 38 when I did the movie. So I would write on each scenes in the different areas why I love my kids, to try to find a dynamic, and to find other flavors. Because a lot of times in the script, it was one-dimensional. It was all this. I said, come on, that can't be what. Yeah. He might hold Michael. He loves Michael. He would hold Marlon, and so forth. And even his discipline was a hard, tough love, maybe a little more than maybe it needed to be, but that's how he knew it because he never got that.
Yeah.
So it was a choice. But, and I'm not saying this is just, a getaway, but look what happened.
Yeah.
They were, by the time they got to the Motown machine, they were beyond professional. They were ready, they had this brilliant talent. And it even sprung Janet out of them. I mean, look at all of that.
It was just that you're just, as an actor, just seeing you go from the show and then playing that character, and I was like, wow.
It's kind of fun. I mean, even like people ask, how did you get to the characterization of it? I said, well, you read the script, so that gives you a sensibility. I knew Joe forever and the family, so I was around them always. But that doesn't give you the earmark. But I thought of my own dad. My dad was not that stern, but he was tough. Yeah. Tough West Indian guy, and my father, everything was loud, It wasn't like, he would just say, Larry, go out and Larry, take out the garbage. Man, it was like, Larry, make the bed. I was like, that was all the time.
How did your parents act when they saw you on the big screen?
They liked it. I tell you, the most interesting compliment I got from my parents is I was maybe in the second year of doing Welcome Back, Kotter. And I remember it was in July, and they both called me on the phone. No call waiting then, so they were on both ends of the phone. But they were proud of me, and they was letting me know it, and they said, Larry, you're really a man, and you're really handling your responsibilities, and you're not tripping. They didn't use those words, but they said you're not, losing yourself. It was real touching. It still gets me a little emotional now, I mean, Joe Jackson can cry, okay? Yes, he can. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
You mentioned the method you use to basically draw out Joe's character, and how at different ages you kind of wrote out how you loved your children. Is that a similar method you use for other characters?
Always, you have to map out what you're trying to go for. When you're reading a script, in my take of it, when I first read it, I'm anxious to read it, so I'm just trying to get through it. Yeah. Then the second time when I read the script, I can let the script really react to me, or me react to what they were meant to try to achieve. Yeah. And then by the time I do a third reading, I'm starting to create. And you have to give yourself pinpoints so you can remind yourself of what you're trying to go for. I just did a short film recently with my great friend Glenn Turman, who I did Cooley High with, called When They're Gone. And we played 2 guys in their 80s who meet at a cemetery. They don't meet, they meet by coincidence because their wives have passed, and they share their stories of loss and so forth. And so when I read the script, and I looked at a certain point where I'm sitting down with Glenn and I'm telling all about my wife, and I said, I would cry here. And I wrote that. And it happened for 3 takes. I didn't have any tears for a 4th take, but it happened, So you make these decisions, and then you have to get yourself in the position to do that. Now, how do you do that? How do you get yourself to be reserved enough?
Next question.
I get tunnel vision. I just kind of get in my own zone, and it probably looks like don't mess with that guy, but it's not that. I go off on my own. I get very quiet. I'm cordial with everybody and get along, and I subdue and get the focus, because it's not easy to do it when they have technical aspects or people looking at it, somebody putting a mic in your face, or which has to be done. And Glenn is real receptive like that too. I've known Glenn 51 years, so we just got a natural relationship and a very good quiet respect. So that's part of it. But you always have to plan your machine of what you're trying to achieve. Take all of that in, and then let it happen and let the instincts take over when it's time to actually physically do it. You got to just trust, a higher power.
That's a great strategy.
Yeah, it's just the truth, and it's experience, it's learn, and it's trial and error. I'm not some miracle worker or some genius. You learn how to do it, and you practice it, and then you find out you have to do your way. Not someone else's way.
Yeah, that's such a good point. That's good advice. To even say that with singers, it's like you can hear a song, sing it how you would sing it, even.
Well, when Natalie Cole first came into the game, and she's a brilliant singer, they wanted to compare her to somebody, so they kept saying Aretha Franklin. They were night and day to each other.
Yeah, it's like
but they were both great.
Person, yeah.
Or when People Bryson came out, they thought of Donny Hathaway. Or when I came out, they thought of Al Capone. No, they didn't do that.
You can compare yourself.
You're a comedian too. Love it.
Were there any roles that were ever more difficult for you to adjust to, or that really stood out to you?
I don't know if difficult is the word. They're all involving. Doing the Jacksons movie, which was a 10-week shoot, and all those years and whatnot, it took a lot of layers to play. But again, you read the script. You work with the actors, all the kids who are brilliant. Even the young guy who played Little Michael, his name is Alex Burrell, still close. I saw him Sunday. We hung out and had breakfast. And his daughter, who's now 12, I love Tara, and I was buying her everything, so you get that sense of togetherness to help you be able to get to the next level of how you can play something. Yeah. You have to have a trust, and it has to be, has to have a naturalistic feeling to it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it takes getting there.
We're going to take a break. We are going to be back with more stories. DJ X-Ray, bring it on.
I can be a friend, someone you can vent to, but feels this words against you, and you forget you're special.
We're back, and I wanted to talk about Jason's lyric.
Yes.
So did you guys finish that? That was just a couple months ago.
Yeah, we did a 4-month tour all over the country. We were everywhere. And they took Jason's lyric, the movie, and they decided to make a dramatic musical, which was interesting. To do it, it's a dramatic movie, but to put music to it was also just an interesting flavor. So that was good experience. Kind of funny how things come around, because I played the father in it, who's the mess up guy. Originally when they were doing the movie, it was between myself and Forrest Whitaker, who got the part.
Really?
Forrest. No, yeah, he's cool. And so, whatever that means, it means nothing. But doing the play was a great experience, working with Alan Payne and Tretch and Tyron Turner, who are still good friends to this day, and Eva, Michelle. It was just a nice experience.
So many people, not the night we came, but there were so many people that came out for that. I kept seeing, they're like, oh, this celebrity, this person. I was like, everybody came out to see you guys.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was packed.
Yeah. I mean, on the road is it's a tough grind, and 4 months and, doing 3 days and 2 days and one off, 1 days. It got to us, towards
Well, and I think also too, like when you were young and you were doing that, it's exciting, you're ready to do it. But then when you work and have the kind of background you have, you've done everything.
No, you have to be young to do that, period.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was getting to. So you get to the point where, okay, I know this is what I really want to do because I'm comfortable, even though you want to work, you're like, oh, I know what goes into doing all that.
But like you were asking earlier, Sam, you were saying, how do you make things work?
Yeah.
You learn how to pace yourself out.
Yeah.
You pace yourself out, we're on the road, but I would chill out. I would see my friends and family, and go on a date, whatever you're doing, I'm the person that likes to spoil everybody, so I was always taking the entire cast out to lunch and dinner and all that, and that's just me, and I'm buying them sweatshirts, and y'all gonna pay me back.
That's probably why they love you. They probably love you because you're doing this same thing that people did for you when you started.
Yeah, you have to feel like you're a part of each other, and it has to be unconscious and no scorecard in it. I'm not putting out a tariff on them that they got to pay me. I could care less, and it wasn't hurting my, I still ate regularly, so I'm okay.
Right. So, best way to be. Mr. Lawrence, spanning over 6 decades, what has been the best era for you working behind the camera?
I mean, it's always different. I do it all now. I do a lot of it. I'm an actor primarily, but I'm a director and a writer, producer as well. But it's the experience of who you work with. When I did Claudine, and I worked with Diane Carroll, and I worked with James Earl Jones. I really got to know them, and they became lifelong friends. And Diana and I stayed tight up until she moved on, you know. And so those are the magical things that come out of it. The experiences are always going to be varied as you do the productions and go along. But all we have to do, in my mind, is you have to have a line of respect. That's got to be it, and we have to be really honest with who we are. We all know our limitations. Yeah. You know, we all know when we're BSing. Let's just keep it real. Yes. We know when we're full of bull. You know, so that's the focus that we should always hold on to that can ill balance us. And get along with everybody. Everybody's job matters. I don't care if they're doing craft service, or especially the people that's doing the cooking. Be real nice to them.
Yes, yes.
You know, because they're gonna hook you up. Yep. It's just getting along and getting that sense of this temporary family, so we can have a trust factor. And that's how you step up in how to do your job.
And how do you feel about, you know, the social media has come into play with everything. It has changed younger people's perspective from old school, having to work hard, grinding. I remember
it's a tough sell, you know. I go through that with my granddaughter, you know, and you know, to say, you know, get off that thing sometimes, you know. I'm not against it. Yeah. It's like when at one time they had rotary phones, when most people even remember that. Yeah, you know.
And then we got the push button.
When we got touch tones, we thought we was high tech.
Wait, when you got the extra cord and you got to
oh man, got the long cords, all the one.
And then it went
got experience. And so, you know, this is part of what the world is. So you know, we can't just dump that out. But at the same time, what it's doing for me, in my thinking of it, it makes us a little complacent because it takes us out of being social. Mm-hmm. You know, we're in our own world. You know, you talk to someone just now and said, "Oh God, you know, I just saw, you know, this hamburger place. Oh, let me Google it." I'm like, let's just talk about it. Yeah. You don't have to do that. So there's a double-edged sword of it, you know. But it's the way the world is. The world is electronic now. It's always going to be push button. That's not going to leave. And it is. I don't think anybody here is going to throw their cell phones away. No, I'm not. Right. You know. But what it does to me is it just kind of takes us a little bit out of being one-on-one social with each other.
Yeah, definitely.
It really does.
Do you? Does your kids or your granddaughter want to be in the business?
No way. No. She's 15, you know, and she's a young lady, and she's into being 15 and me buying her leather boots, which I bought 2 or 3 weeks ago for her, you know, whatever she wanted. So yeah.
I have a 17-year-old. Yeah, she wants nothing to do with industry. My son, totally different. He's 21. He all about the industry. My daughter, nothing, and she's on that phone.
You know something? I mean, if she wanted it, then of course, you know. I help her, yeah. I mean, she's been on sets with me, you know. And I was doing a show called House Divided a few years ago, and she was on the set, and she was just fascinated with being in the makeup trailer because she's all the women getting done up. Yeah. And I said, you want that done? So I let them do her, and they braided her hair for her and all that, and she was all this and that.
Give her a couple of years, she's gonna look back and go, oh my God, my grandfather, this.
Yeah, you know. So you know, I mean, that's if anybody wants to do anything and it's in my reason or my power, I would be encouraging. But I mean, I just think kids should let them live. Yeah. Let them live for a while. Let them become 15, 17-ish, and they can start thinking about it. Because everything starts to lock into. When you become 15, you think you know everything in the world, and you don't want to hear nothing. You become 18 and realize you don't know nothing, but you don't want to admit it. You know, and then when you get 21, you spend the rest of your life trying to figure it out. You know, that's just the real of it. Mm-hmm. And so
you think you're an adult at 21, you think you know everything. That's what I'm going through with my son, right?
And they know it all at 21, don't they? Huh?
You don't know diddly squat.
Yeah, and they don't even know. They just got out of Pampers last week.
Yes, I'm like, I've been here longer than you. Yeah. You don't know nothing. You didn't have internet. I'm like, you be quiet.
You know, we got to take the time. You know, I think we should always take the time to just go get that donut, you know, or take a little time to, you know, talk to somebody you care about and just tell them. And you don't have to be deep about it. Yeah, I've done this a couple of times with Glenn Turman. You know, I just called him and I said, man, what's up, man? And Glenn's, you know, hey, what's up, baby? I said, I just called to tell you, man, I'm digging you, brother. You know, you're my dude. Oh, man, I like that. I feel that way about you, too. We're trying to be so macho. You know?
Right.
But, you know, that's how we are, you know.
And you guys been together since you were little kids, basically.
Well, no, I was 21 and he was 27 when we met at Cooley High. I was 21 and he was 27 with kids.
You look 17.
Well, we were playing 17. I did Welcome at Carter when I was 21, 22. Yeah. Travolta just turned 21 then. Yeah. Bobby and Ronda played Epstein and Horseshack with 24. Oh. You know, we were playing those kids and we just got away with it.
You got away with it, yeah. You guys, thank goodness you guys look so young.
Yeah.
You still look the same. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
But you look the same. Like.
Okay.
Now you might go to bed at 9 o'clock, right?
8 o'clock is a good hour.
You know how you go out now, people invite you to the event and you like do like Irish goodbye, you go in and you kind of disappear.
Oh yeah, man. You know,
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, you know. Oh, I gotta make a phone call, and you're gone with the wind because you think about that.
You're in your car driving home, and happy to be home. Yeah. That's what ends up happening.
Mr. Lawrence, I feel like you've done it all in the entertainment industry, but is there any little aspect of it that you haven't done yet and you look forward to?
Not really, you know. I mean, I've been, you know, fortunate and part of the hustle of being into it almost 57 years. Since I was 15 years old, that's a long time, you know, and I'm gonna be 72. That's a long run, and I'm still doing it. You know, I'm still hyper and got energy, so I don't know what it's gonna be like next week, but this week I'm cool. You know, so you know, I got that going on.
Yeah.
But no, what I find myself more as I get more drifting into the directorial side and the writing side is I want to work with people that I like or people that I respect. And I love seeing them bring the process. So, you know, like I'm gonna do some films coming up soon, and my friend Glenn's gonna be in a couple of them, and I'm gonna be directing Glenn. And it's gonna be interesting, you know, for me to really get in there with Glenn and get the scene right, brother. No, you know.
And he's gonna come back and say, I know what I'm doing, huh?
No, you know, that's not how we Glenn and I have a shorthand with each other. I tell you, when we were doing this short film recently together, and Glenn's always smoking cigars, so that's his thing. And he likes champagne, so I bought him a bottle of champagne so he can drown himself in that. And we were sitting around talking, and we were just looking at each other, you know, and he's smoking this and that. And I said, yeah, Glenn, we some bad mother old so-and-so. He said, yeah, we are.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's how we roll. Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, good guy.
Gotta
good
get
brother.
that on camera.
Yeah, that's my dude, man. He, Richard Lawson, Stephen Williams from the Cooley High.
Oh, he was just here.
Yeah, and I just talked to Steve a couple days
he
ago.
was here.
Garrett Morris, Bill Duke, we're all still tight. You know, even Clyde Jones is in there.
Clyde Jones is in the building.
Yeah.
Are there any young and upcoming actors or actresses that you have an eye on or you're kind of inspired?
I do. You know, I do it all the time, but there's a young man, his name is Jermaine Martin, who just called me a few minutes ago, and he's 33, and he's going to be in my films as well. And I met him about 4 years ago playing my nephew, but there was something a little extra about this young man. He was, you know, he talked about his daughter and his family life and coming out of Cleveland, and we kind of locked up, so we kind of adopted each other. I guess I'm the surrogate daddy, you know, for him, but it's okay. He likes to come to my house because I'm always cooking, so he's eating me out of house at home most of the time. No, he's good.
Well said.
It's been so great having you.
I know, we enjoy
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
such
yeah.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
I think I've schooled them on a lot of stuff of your movies. So you're gonna go home and watch it. You gotta go home and watch Welcome.
Oh, you know, just put me in Google and get sick of me.
Yes, there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
So no, we enjoy it, and we want to say that we were looking forward to your films coming up.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
See
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
Do you have social media?
Yeah, I got all that
Tell them
stuff. I'm not the
social
greatest
media.
on there, but I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook.
Okay, so tell them your Instagram.
I'm
your
not into
name.
all of that. You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you already know his name. Lawrence Hilton-Jacobs. Just Google it. You'll find him.
Yeah, man.
And
Or
we're
America's
gonna
Most
be
Wanted.
watching
Look for me on that.
Oh my gosh, I hope you enjoyed the show as much as we got to enjoy him. And we will be seeing you soon. Take it away, DJ X-Ray.
Thank you, guys.
All you gotta do is just know that you're special. Come on.
Life will always test you, turn you to the best you. Don't know what you've been through, but I hope you get through. I can be a friend who is someone you can vent to when it feels this world's against you and you forget you're special.
Don't you forget you're special. Don't you forget you're special. Don't you forget you're special. Don't you forget you're special.
Hey, you are special, and don't forget it. Even when everyone neglects to mention how you did for them when they didn't. I know life ain't always fair, but keep living. Cause after you lose it, that's when you miss it. And when you need them, that's when they get distant. But in person, they act like y'all have a friendship. Just remember that they make their own decisions. Because